you mentioned condos. I feel like condos land in the same-ish realm as apartments. What are your thoughts on how many apartments are being constructed? You throw a rock, it's
Yes,
an overused expression, but you throw a rock in Omaha
know.
now and you hit a new apartment complex. And typically, ironically too, all those new apartments are always very upscale. And
Yes.
I mean, I don't know
Yeah.
nearly enough about the real estate market. That's why you're here, thank God. But to me, I just don't see that as economically sustainable to have all these new luxury, is what they're calling them, and they are, these luxury apartments, especially in some parts of town that people probably can't afford them. So
that's true.
Is that an issue that Omaha's facing? Is it just playing catch up because there weren't enough apartments before, or what are your thoughts on that?
Well, first of all, I completely agree with your sense that there's something going on there that we need to understand. Just a quick tap into my background to understand where I come from on this.
Sure.
First of all, I was in missionary work and working in poor countries and with poor children and helping open schools and stuff. So I'm very interested in helping people who have less.
Right.
That's just always been a part of my life. My dad has always modeled that. My family has always modeled that. So that's always been sort of given for me. I often thought, how could I do real estate and still keep that alive?
Yeah.
I found a way.
Good.
Keller Williams is very, very much about that. God, family, business is the order of our things.
Love it.
So I suppose if you're putting God first or your higher power first, you're going to be helping other people out before you help yourself. Or you'll see that by helping other people, you do help yourself.
Right. Not even bring religion into it.
Yeah.
I mean, religion, the higher power thing. Religion, you can't argue. It teaches good morals.
Yeah.
I mean, and good just human behavior.
Yeah.
Whether or not you believe in the higher power part.
Exactly.
Yeah. God, family.
Yeah.
Then what was the third one? God,
Business.
family, business. Oh,
Yeah.
I like that.
And it happens. And Keller really, really encourages that mindset. And if you don't have that mindset, you probably wouldn't want to be around the Keller Williams people, because
Sure.
it's a win-win idea when we do real estate. And unfortunately, that's not the reputation real estate has had. But we find ourselves living at a higher level and actually doing better with the win-win mentality. So
I see it. I see all the. You guys can't see it, but back in the background here, they have a bunch of stats on how Keller Williams has outbeat a lot of the other real estate companies.
Not in pure numbers in Omaha. In some cities we're bigger.
Sure.
But we are able to glean some sort of success from that, and to encourage people to trust that doing good can also result in benefiting you personally, your family, and then we like to think our whole legacy, like our children and their children's children. So want to help them. For that, it's helping the city. For me, it's helping the city. I don't have any children, but I still believe very much in helping the city. If I'm going to be making money in real estate, then I ought to be able to contribute and do that in a way that I can live with myself at night.
Of course.
And one of those things is the bigger issues. Keller, again, always encourages us to say, you can't be a jack of all trades. So you choose in your business what really motivates your heart and your mind and your vision for the future of whatever you're working on, and let that be what drives your motivates you when you do your business. And for me, it is all of this stuff. It's building up the city in a way that is good for everybody.
I very much sense that.
Yeah.
From the many conversations we have had, few or many, I guess.
Yes.
We haven't had too many, but you always are looking to help others. And so would you say that these apartment complexes are, am I correct to say, aren't doing that for the city? You think that they're kind of helping only a select few?
Well, yes. Well, and then we've talked about this. I think that we just need to be really careful. I think Omaha's in a position where we can still make decisions that are not, they're not irreversible. And that is, what kind of communities do we want? Do we want all apartments where there's no equity stake in the neighborhood except for like 3 people that own the buildings? Or do we want to increase the equity stake? One of the advantages of the apartments, so there's always a bright side to the stuff that's going on, but then there's always a caveat.
Sure.
So like right now, what the bright side is, the developers are creating more density in areas.
True,
now,
which is very important.
Blackstone's a good example. There's enough density there that they can support restaurants and things because people can get to them and people have the income to support them.
Right.
And there's enough people with those attributes. So, it's always a blessing and a curse. So like, that's the good side of it. I've been talking to developers. Well, I've talked to 2 and I've asked them, why are you doing all apartments? You used to do condos or something like
Why
that.
are you doing this?
And they said basically, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know,
Okay.
we had to change our formula with the recession. We did condos, and some people got burned. Some developers got burned with that. Others made it out just in time. Nobody ran away with it and had an awesome experience with it. Every developer will tell you, wow, they're lucky they got through that.
In terms of
especially
just condos or apartments?
just
also?
condos,
Just condos,
because
okay.
you know you have to sell those
Right.
to get your money back. And so if they don't all sell, then you're like, you're kind of in between. Should I just convert them back to? No, but I've already sold these. I can't convert them back to apartments.
Right.
So it's like you're stuck in this thing, and you have to play it out to the end, because you can't just go rent the ones that didn't sell, because then that would create probably a lawsuit by the ones who bought and didn't want
Right.
to have a rental community. So anyway, so I think that they, out of fear, to some degree, out of fear, and out of the fact that there was a need for apartments, they just keep the machinery going. Unfortunately, or fortunately, there's people like you and me who are like thinking, okay, we need to think bigger than that.
Right.
We need to think, where's this going? When can we get an equity stake in the neighborhood? One of my favorite people in the city is Nancy Mammal. And she was
know her.
Nancy Mammal. She is a huge philanthropist in the city.
Okay.
She built the building CO2 on South 10th Street. It's an apartment building, very super ultra modern, right across from the Grace campus.
Yeah.
Okay, so it had a coffee shop in the main level.
Right.
So she really feels that she saw too many apartments going up. Like, she felt like there needs to be more of a shared equity stake in these areas. And of course, there's all sorts of benefits you can imagine if I own in an area rather than if I rent.
Right.
And
Obviously.
so she actually has converted that building to condominiums, and she's selling them right
Is that
now.
the one with edgy colors, like
Yes.
lime green and
Yes.
dark blue? Okay, yeah, I
Yeah.
know exactly what you're talking
And it's,
about.
I think, the only residential LEED certified building in the city for
Interesting.
Yeah. So, but not to get off track, one of the things you raised is that what about how are we going to get different income levels in the city? How is it? Because it can, like you said, a lot of the apartments, they're expensive. Like Midtown, as I said, that was a catalyst for change.
Right.
However, the apartments there, they had some apartments and then some condos, and all of them were geared at
Very upscale.
above what we call affordable level. So, and when we say affordable, I think we're talking about incomes of not poor people, but people who have sort of
Like 60, 70
starting level
000.
professional incomes. Yeah. And so that is a fair question, and it is a concern, and I don't see too many people addressing it. So I'm trying to address it. I feel like the calling is for me, and it's just like a spark in my mind even in the last 2 months.
Yeah.
I think I need to see what I can do to contribute in this area before areas get totally, the prices get so high that we're not a diverse, broad-based community anymore.
Right.
Just-